as well.
That will do. Thank you. I'll let Sneha drive though. She's got plenty of questions for you.
Okay, sure.
So, Mark, I actually really liked the introduction, and I did my research and I went to LinkedIn as well to check a little bit more about the company. So I saw the videos that you posted about how businesses have been impacted by COVID-19 and the three strategies that you talk about. One being pivot in that. So if I could, just ask you a little bit more about how companies which are management consultancies can pivot in such an unprecedented time.
How can management consultancies pivot in unprecedented times? So we are essentially in management consultancy.
Yeah.
And the way I can tell you the way we've pivoted is by thinking outside the square, firstly being fast to adapt, right? You got to look at the situation and go, what's happening right now? We ended up losing maybe 30% as soon as the lockdowns happened, because we had clients who were in events, for example. We had clients who had maybe 900, nearly 1,000 staff go to zero income. All their events for the next 3 months were canceled. And after 3 months, it's still not open yet. So we had clients like that who were doing stuff with us who basically were gone, like zero income altogether, and unfortunately the restrictions and stuff, they've sent businesses broke, right? Completely broke. But we had to pivot. So part of our pivot is in understanding what are we really good at? What are our core competencies? And what we've done since then, because what we consider ourselves to be good at is a good head office. We're good at the business side of things. Maybe we don't know how to make cupcakes and we don't know how to make, all the other products and services, but we're good at running the business side of things. And the business side of things, I would say, is more like 99% of what a business has to do. So I'll take you to another slide, just to show you what I mean. A lot of business people think that their product or service is everything. The way we look at business, it's only 1%, right? There's so many other things that go into a business as opposed to a product or a service. So being that we were good at the other stuff, we decided that we can actually help other businesses during this time of need. So we looked at buying and acquiring businesses. So in January, late January, we ended up acquiring a radiation business in Perth and applying all our best practices into that. Then just recently, it's supposed to already be incorporated next week. We've started a building business over in Queensland. We've got a deal with a big global software company to put our best practice training into all their users. So this could be a like tens of millions of dollars deal, revenue stream. And that's a negotiation that took place to go, like I was advising and making videos saying, hey, look, here are the industries that I think are going to suffer, right? Events, restaurants, hospitality, travel, and all that. But then I made a list of businesses I thought were going to do good. For example, people in the software business, in the tech space, because you can work from home, you can provide your services. So we just practice what we preach. We went to those companies and showed them what we have. They liked it. They ended up going, we could do a partnership. And that's currently in contract negotiations at the moment. If we sign the contract, we're in. We've got stuff we want them to change so that we can feel a bit more comfortable with the contract. So we just actually had the meeting right before this. So apologies for being a little bit late, but I had finished our meetings with our lawyers. It's been about a 13 or 14 week negotiation at the moment, maybe, somewhere around that time. Since the coronavirus essentially started, that we've started. So we've got that, and I'm meeting someone on Friday in the tech space again to talk about acquiring or starting up a new business in that space. So the way we've pivoted is by using our core strengths, right? And that depends on each and every business. Every business has a different level of strengths. You've got to use what you're good at and use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question.
That's a beautiful advice and answer. That's why when I saw the videos, I wanted to understand more when you meant by, the business is having to pivot. So I think that answers it really well. So right now at a stage, I am going to be graduating soon. So if you were to go back as a student, what is it that you would do differently?
You're not going to like my answer. I know. If you've just spent a number of years in university, you're not going to like my answer. But my personal answer would be I would have quit. I would have stopped all the university and all the postgrad studies and all that kind of stuff. But for someone who's finishing, you go, oh my God, did I just waste 4 years? It's not that it's wasted, right? I wasted my university time because I spent most of it having fun and partying, right? So which to me is not a waste. I enjoyed it, tremendously enjoyed it. But what I would do to make it useful, right, so that you can really activate what you learn is there's no point spending 4 years learning concepts that you're never going to apply, right? Yeah. If I learn something today, by tomorrow, my recall of it's not going to be that great. If I give you a 30-minute presentation on a topic today, tomorrow you'll remember 10% of it.
Yeah.
And in about 6 months' time, you'll remember none of it. You may not even remember talking to me, right? But if you activate your knowledge, which means you gain experience and practical hands-on trying to work with it, then 1 year of that is worth 10 years of you trying to learn it. So how do you make use of your degree, your university studies and all that kind of stuff? Do something along the way, right? Get some working experience while you're studying or as close as you can to when you're studying. I didn't do that. Like for me, I studied and then I did a different job, right? I did jobs that were unrelated to my studies. Do jobs that are related to your studies. Get the internships and the experience that are related directly in your field rather than doing what I did, working somewhere else and partying, right? So, that for me, my jobs were completely unrelated to what I was doing. In a way, there were different benefits because I learned different skills, right? So I did accounting and finance, and most people would understand who deal with accountants and people in finance. They're very boring and unimaginative, and that's a generalization, right? Which I did that, but I was able to build other skills like communication, relationship management, customer service. So nothing really ever goes to waste if you know how to use it, right? So you don't have to waste any experience. I learned things from mopping floors, right? I mop floors for 10 hours a day. I took away learnings from that because I wanted to use what I